Hello, welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ripal Gupta from LJ School of Law. Today I'm going to discuss on the subject of law of torts, in which we're going to discuss on the general defenses. Now, what is general defenses? That defenses are available to the defendant side, that he can defend his case in the law of court against the plaintiff. So these are the certain situations where defendant has their own points or he can defend his own case. So we'll discuss the general defenses on the point of the defendants, so they can defend their cases. So first defense is voluntary non-fit injuria. Now voluntary non-fit injury is again a maxim which means what is consented is not injury. So what consent? Consent means agree. You are agree to something. So if you are agree for having some pain, it is not a injury that caused by you. For example, if I agree to my dentist that I want to remove my any teeth because it's just have some deteriorate condition. So if I incur certain pain or injuries, I consented for the same pain. So I cannot say that that person caused me injuries, I want to file a case against that person. So once you have consented for the particular work, you cannot take this particular matter in the court of law that that person has incurred some injury to me or caused some pain to me. So once you have given consent, then this can be a good defense for the defendant. So there are two types of consent, implied and express. Now what is express consent? Express means you expressly consented that to the another person. I went to a surgeon, I signed on the paper that whatever be happen, I will be liable for this, no one is liable. So doctor will not be liable for the anything happen in the operation or surgery. So expressly I consented to the surgery, that is express consent. You expressly consent through writing or through the verbals that you said or agrees to the for this particular surgery or any operation or anything, whatever it is. That is expression. By oral, by writing, you have expressed your views, that is express consent. Second is implied consent. Implied means you haven't agrees directly to any person, but indirectly you have consented. For example, you are going for watching a cricket match and you are consented over that if you caused injury by hitting a ball by a player, so we'll sit here any players as well as the spectators have consented, implied consent, that anything happened during the match, no one is else liable. So this is called implied consent. So here you impliedly consent, not directly but indirectly, that I am ready to have ready to, for if I suffers for any pain, I am ready to bear it. That is called implied consent. So now there are certain conditions again for the voluntary non-fit injuria. So first condition is consent must be free. Now what is consent must be? That is consent must be free. That is should be from my will, from free will. No one should pressurize me for my consent, or should use any coercion, any under any threatening. They cannot take my consent. So consent must be free from my own will. So we'll discuss this from one case, R versus Williams. In this case, the defendant was a music teacher of a girl who is 16 years old. So he told her that if you be with me in this, if you do some sexual intercourse with me, you will improve your voice. So she doesn't know about his intention, what he wants actually. So she agrees to it that okay, I'll do this with you. But after some time she come to when she knew about it, she complains against him for the rape. But the defendant took a view that she agrees to it, but the court held that she is not consent is not free. She was under the mistaken, she has consented for this work. So this consent is not free. So he is liable for his conduct and he is punishable for his act. Second condition is act must be lawful. That means if I am consented for anything, that consent must be lawful. That particular act must be lawful. I should not consent for any crime. I should not consent for any murder or any kidnapping or any kind of crime. So consent must be lawful. It should not be in illegal means. So whenever you are doing any act, it must be lawful in the eyes of law. Then that consent can be taken as your defense. The third is voluntary non-senti non-fit injuria. This means that the the plaintiff or the person who is agrees to any act, he must know the full risk of the act, not even a partial. So if I am agrees for a sword fight, but if I am not knowing that sword fight is without any precautions, so if it is I know only partial facts, so this cannot be considered as a consent. So you should give full consent. You should know the whole fact of the act, and if then you agree, then you can take defense of this. So there must be a full knowledge of the risk that you are taking. We'll discuss the case of Smith and Baker over here. In this case, the defendant was being employed by the plaintiff in the stone cutting mill, where he was employed for the stone cutting. The stones were taken over by through the crane from one place to another over to him. So the employer told him that there is a risk that you are working, because stones are maybe through the crane, they are lifting from above to you, so that might be that you may have incurred injury. So they will notify you before they are passing stone from one place to another. But one day that person failed to notify that person that we are taking stones from one place to another, and he got injury. So he filed a case in that. But defendant said that he already consented for the work, but the court held that he had not the full knowledge about the act, that how much injury he will got, and how you told him that you will notify him about the passing of the stone from one place to another, where you fail. So you fail on your part, you are negligent on your part. So here this consent is not free, so that plaintiff is liable to pay the compensation. So in this we can see that the consent must be free. That means you should know full act, you should know the pain that you are having, you are going to have, that is there, and then you agree, then you can take the defense of your consent. Second defense is act of God. Act of God means anything from the natural forces. No human efforts can have a hand in that act. That is all from natural forces. So that is act of God. So we can have examples of earthquakes, tsunamis, cyclones. These are the act of God. So if you have caused injury because of the act of God, you have a good defense for it. So first example, in the case of Nicholas versus Marshland, in this case plaintiff had created a lake, it is artificial lake nearby his house, but due to heavy rain, that particular lake burst out. So because of that, the neighbors and the bridges was damaged. But in this case the court held that this was because of the act of God. No human efforts has damaged this thing, so he cannot be liable to pay the compensation. The case of Karulal versus Hemchandra, in this case due to heavy rain, the defendant's wall was fell down, and the plaintiff filed a case against that person, but defendant took a view that it was an act of God. But court said that the rain was anticipated and your wall fallen because of your negligence, and because of that 2% died. So defendant has to pay compensation over, because that rain was anticipated, it was not that heavy rain. So here it was not act of God, so that person has to pay compensation. Next defense is inevitable accident. Now what is inevitable accident? Those accidents which a person or ordinary prudence cannot avoid. That means in a general sense a person cannot avoid that accident, that is called inevitable accident. Even though he is taking so much care, utmost care, that case took place. So this can be a defense from the defendant side, that I took a prudence, I take utmost care of the act, but I couldn't stop it, it just happened. So this is called inevitable accident. So in the case of Stanley versus Powell, in this case, two members were a member of a one shooting party. The defendant shoot at a bird, but unfortunately that particular bullet hit the oak tree and rebounded to the plaintiff and hit him. So here the court held that this was inevitable accident. He didn't meant to hit that particular guy, but it just happened. So it is, he cannot be liable to pay the compensation for the same. Next is private defense. Now, what is private defense? That means everyone has a right to defense themselves and their property, to protect them. And if anyone is trying to trying to hurt you or your property, want to destroy your property, you have a right to save your property by taking the defense. That is called private defense. That means you are paying back, you are responding them through any means, that is called private defense. But it has again two conditions, that private defense must be in a proportion, that in a proportion what you are getting, you have to reverse with the same proportion. If someone is coming with me by with hitting with a stick, and I shoot with a gun, it cannot be said private defense. So that it should be one in proportion. Second, it must be justified. You can justify your private defense, that that person is particularly trying to hit you or your property. That is called that should be in a justified manner, that you have to prove that that person is trying to hit you or your property. That is called then you can use your private defense. We'll discuss one case over here, Ramanuj versus Gagan. In this case, plaintiff had put electric wires surrounded by her house for the defense, for the protection of his house, and it was electrified wires. So the plaintiff didn't know about this electric wires. So he was passing through his house and he got electrified because of this wires. So he filed a case against that defendant, but the court said that defendant is liable because this cannot be used as a private defense. Anyone can be injured by this kind of things. So he has to pay the compensation to the plaintiff. Next is act of necessity. When you act in because of some necessity, that means salus populi supreme lexa, that means the welfare of people is a supreme law. If you are doing some good for some people, and if that because of that they got some injury, you can take a defense of this because you have done something good to him. For example, if someone anyone is just walking on a road and he going to be hit by one car, but I just push him behind so hardly that I can save his life. If he filed a case against me, I can take a defense that it's an act of necessity, that I want to save his life because he was about to come under the or maybe hit by one car. So this can be an act of necessity. So if you are throwing a water on a fire, on house fire, or putting it down, anything happen to that house or that person, you can say that it is an act of necessity. You have to do that to save their life. So it is a good defense from the defendant if you are doing something for the necessary, for particular act to save that person or his property. So you can take this defense, that is act of necessity at that particular time. Next is mistake. Now there is a maxim, ignorance of law is no excuse. There are two types of mistake, mistake of fact and mistake of law. Mistake of fact can be a good defense, but mistake of law is not a good defense. Now what is mistake of fact? When you don't know about some fact, for example, if I contracting with some person about having a salary of 10,000, but I was under mistaken that he's offering me 11,000. So this can be a mistake of fact, that he can take a defense that I offer you only 10,000, but you mistakenly understand it's 11,000. But mistake of law cannot be a good defense. For example, anyone from outside from Gujarat came here and is bring liquor with him, and he said, I don't know about the law of Gujarat. You cannot say this. Ignorance of law is not a mistake. So if you don't know about the law and you say that I don't know law, I just commit because I don't know about the land of the law, it is not a good defense. You have to accept that that you are having the knowledge of the law. So mistake of fact can be a good defense, but mistake of law is not a good defense. No one can take a defense of mistake of law. That ignorance of law is not a good defense. You know it or you don't know it. You don't know it. Good defense of mistake of law you cannot take. So you have to take punishment if you ignoring any law, you don't follow any law. But mistake of law is a good defense. The next is statutory authorities. Now the authorities that is under the sovereign power. Any authority is given to any person for doing some work, it is called statutory authority. If that authority is doing something under their sovereign powers or under their authority, they have the good defense to take that they are authorized to do this works. If any damage caused to you, we are not liable. So for example, in the case of Vagam versus Staffwell Railway Company, in this case, the respondent railway company was authorized to run a rail on a particular track which was adjoined by the land of the plaintiff. It has a wooden factory nearby, adjoining of the lane of the railway track. So one day, because of the sparks in the railway, his wood got destroyed, and a huge loss he has to suffer because of that spark. So he filed a case against that railway company, but court said that railway company couldn't care of the railway. They are running railway with all precautions and care, so he is not liable to pay any compensation because it's again first statutory authority. Secondly, they are taking a proper care of the of driving rails or railways, so they are not liable to pay the compensation. Next is judicial act. So judges or judicial officer or magistrates are exempted from the judicial duties. So if they are performing their judicial duties, they are exempted from any judgment. If they are giving, that they can be taken that they are performing their duties, so they can exempt from their duties. So even India has a Judicial Officer Protection Act 1850, which says that all the judges, magistrates are exempted from their performing their duties. That under their duties, if they are doing any kind of judgment which may affect any party, but they have the they have that they are exempted from that particular their duties. So if they are performing their duties under their duties, by their decision or their judgment they affect any parties, they have been exempted from it. Next is quasi judicial authority. That means that includes club, universities, medical councils. So these bodies are authorized from the government to make their own rules regulation for an administration. So they can make any such rules and guidelines. Maybe it may be harsher, or it may be for their own guidelines. They can make it because they have to administer their own universities or clubs or any councils. But they have to see that the act they are making should be in a good faith. For second, the full information regarding of the guilt person should be given to them. If anyone is guilty according to their guidelines, they have give full information to the guilt person. The third is they should give a reasonable opportunity to that person or to be heard by that person. So a natural justice should be fulfilled by these authorities. Now parental and quasi-parental authorities. So parents and school teachers or the principals are termed to be quasi-parental authorities. They can give punishment to their children or the students. So they cannot be they can take a defense because they are quasi-parental authorities. So any parent can punish their children by not allowing them to go out from the house, or just even the teacher can expel the students or can suspend the students because they are the quasi-judicial parental authority. So they can take a defense of their authorities. So we have discussed the general defenses available in the law of torts. These are the defenses that defendant can take under particular situations. So this are some of the defenses that help defendants in their cases if they have worked in a good faith or they have acted in such manner. Thank you.